Well, hello, SNHU 107 students, and welcome to your very first week in your SNHU 107 class and the Module 1 Week 1 Learning Community webinar. First and foremost, your experience here at Southern New Hampshire University is important to us. It's our policy and practice to create an inclusive and accessible learning environment. If there are aspects of instruction or course design that present barriers to accessibility, please notify the Online Accessibility Center, the OAC, as soon as possible at 866-305-9430, or you can email them at oac@snhu.edu or visit the Online Accessibility Center website. Who are the OAC and why should that matter to you as a student here at SNHU? Well, that Online Accessibility Center team helps learners just like you get content like classroom content, webinar content, whatever it might be, in a way that works best for you and your learning needs. So if you have questions about this, want to know more, reach out directly to the Online Accessibility Center team. A couple of webinar reminders. These SNHU 107 Learning Community webinars are offered in two different ways. One, there'll be some that'll be a live session. Any of those you'll get reminder emails about. You'll also be able to check your course announcements in your classes, check your SNHU student email. It'll give you any reminders of the live sessions. And the live sessions are always recorded and they're always posted within 24 hours. So you'll still be able to access them the week of your assignments. But most of the webinars are actually on demand, which means that they're pre-recorded and they're loaded in the First Year Experience YouTube channel for SNHU 107 every single Monday, and they help walk you through your course concepts and give you just kind of that additional support as needed. But they're also always posted. The links for the live sessions, webinar recordings on demand are always posted in the SNHU 107 Learning Community. As a reminder, any of your classroom spaces, the learning community spaces, SNHU Connect are always considered academic spaces, so be mindful of your conduct. And just a reminder too, these webinars are completely optional. They're not graded. There's no extra credit points. They are just offered as extra support to help you be successful in your class from week to week and have a really successful term, okay? So what we're going to talk about today here for week 1, module 1 is what is the SNHU 107 Learning Community, how to find it, how to use it, making sure you know how to access your class, get your book purchased and connected. We're going to talk about this very first week's assignments, which you have a discussion assignment and a warm-up assignment this week for your first week. We're going to talk about resources for your success, a reminder of how to find the learning community webinars and the video recordings, and just a reminder to enjoy yourself. So who am I? This is me. Hello, everybody. I am Melanie Shop, and I am your learning community facilitator, which means that I oversee the learning community for SNHU 107 in SNHU Connect. I also oversee the learning community for IDS 105, if any of you guys happen to be taking that. I teach both classes too. So for some of you, I might be your actual instructor, but for the majority of you, you will have a different instructor. So you can always find your classroom instructor by clicking on the My Instructor area of your Brightspace classroom. But this is me, this is my family. I not only teach here as an adjunct faculty member for SNHU, but I'm also an academic partner. And what that means is I get to work with your amazing faculty and just make sure that student success is the top priority here for our SNHU students. I absolutely love the water. I live just outside Pensacola Beach, Florida. If you've never been to the Gulf Shores area, it's absolutely stunning. Our beaches are incredible, but it doesn't matter. I love the pool, the river, the lake. I always say that I'm a part-time mermaid. I'm also very active. I love road biking, indoor cycling. I also love to read. Fun fact, I've had published authors in my classes before, and I always love book recommendations from students because I read all across the genres. So if you have any, holler at me. I also heavily love coffee, and I enjoy spending time with my loved ones. I'm a mom to a Harley Davidson motorcycle enthusiast, and I have 2 growing boys, which as I look at these photos, I'm like, man, I need to update those photos because they are 10 and 14 now, and they look a lot different. But the biggest thing I want you to remember is that I am a resource for you, okay? I am part of the SNHU Connect team, the first year experience team, really just here to help you be successful in your classes. So a lot of students are like, okay, like I'm confused. There's a lot of acronyms at SNHU. There's a lot of technical spaces. Like, what is this learning community? Well, first and foremost, anything that you have that is graded. So your classroom assignments, discussions, any of your warm-up quizzes, anything that's graded is always done in what is called Brightspace. That's at learn.snhu.edu. A lot of students like to save that as their browser, so it pops open when they first get into their internet classes. The learning community is in what is called SNHU Connect. SNHU Connect is where you can find clubs and organizations here at the university, but also there's a dedicated learning community for SNHU 107 and IDS 105. What does that mean? It means that in the learning community, nothing is graded. It's completely optional, but it's a space where you can see other students asking questions or introduce themselves that are taking the same classes as you. So it's an opportunity to build relationships and connections with other classmates. Plus, I always post any of the webinar recording links, any of the live session reminder links in there. I also, for the webinars, I also put in there any just-in-time resources, which could be some motivational stuff, just a reminder that you can do it, or even a focus video link, which walks you through really quickly like a certain concept in your class, or for example, like how to find the discussion board, or like how to find a journal assignment, things like that. So what the learning community does is, again, it's a place outside your Brightspace classroom. Nothing is graded. It's where you can build relationships with other students taking classes just like you. You get the webinar information. Plus, it's also another quick place to ask like a general question and just get that extra support and motivation as you need it, which equals your success. So how do you find these learning communities? Well, once you have course access, so once you can access your classes in Brightspace, you will have access to the learning community spaces in SNHU Connect. So SNHU Connect looks like this. So if you're in My SNHU and you see this little SNHU Connect, you can just click right on it. But there are two learning communities. We have the IDS 105 learning community, and then we have SNHU 107. You're taking SNHU 107, so you want to look for the SNHU 107 learning community and join that community space. If you want to know more about kind of like how to navigate SNHU Connect, there's a lot of YouTube tutorial videos and information on your My SNHU, which you can find directly from your Brightspace classroom, okay? Once you get into the learning community space or you log into SNHU Connect, it's really important to take a minute and make a profile. Right? You're going to share a little bit about you, maybe upload a profile photo, and then you can go ahead and look for clubs, organizations, join the different learning communities that you might be taking classes for, and share posts, say, hey, like I'm a new student, this is where I'm from. It's really cool to see other students find each other, especially when you have things in common or you're taking the same classes or you have the same major. So it's an optional space, again, but so worth it for you and your support here at SNHU. Okay, so that's everything learning community. Again, learning community is SNHU Connect. And nothing is graded. Anything that's graded, your classroom assignments, that is what is called Brightspace, is where you can find that. So I'm going to take a moment here when we get done going through these next few slides and actually show you your classroom space. You can kind of get an idea of like how to navigate it and where to find things. But I wanted to just show you really quick, when you log into Brightspace, at the top of your screen, there's this course menu button with a little down arrow. When you click on that, you can quickly get to class announcements. You can get to learning modules. When you click on learning modules, it'll pull up all the weeks of your course. So your first week is module 1. So module 1 is week 1. That means you only do assignments for module 1, week 1, because week 2 is module 2, week 2, okay? So you're only focusing in on that 1 week at a time. A lot of students are like, well, can I work ahead or can I do things early? You can. Of course, as convenient for your schedule, but don't ever work too far ahead because you might have to redo assignments if you like missed key concepts or didn't understand something correctly, okay? So always let your instructor know if you're thinking about working ahead at all, because they can really give you the best guidance to make a plan for your success. But underneath that course menu, you can find your announcements again, your learning modules. There's a quick link for discussions and assignments. And then of course, there's the link for grades, which that way you can keep on top of how you are doing in your classes and make sure that you're getting everything turned in as needed, okay? SNHU 107 has an electronic textbook. So you want to make sure that you know how to purchase your electronic textbook and get connected. So when you're looking at the top of your screen, your toolbar looks a little bit different than mine just because I have instructor access. But your toolbar will have this like course menu, and then you'll see like My SNHU, the library, academic support. You'll see the help icon. On the help icon, click the down arrow. There's an IT service desk, which is a quick link to get to anything technical you might need. But then online student services is where you will click on online student services and it pulls up all the departments here at the university, and the bookstore is the top middle. Click on SNHU bookstore, put in your course code, the term that you're taking the class, that you're taking it online. It'll pull up your course materials and you add it to cart and checkout just like you would if you were shopping on Amazon, okay? Now, I always get asked, Professor Shop, Melanie, is there a physical hard copy textbook of the book? Sometimes, not always, but sometimes the SNHU bookstore might have what's considered a loose leaf or a paper version or a paper copy of the power textbook that y'all need for your class, but not always. And often it can be back ordered and not even available. Some students like to get both the electronic version and the paper version if it's available. Often students are like, you know what, I bought that and didn't even open it. But I get it because I'm somebody that likes to like hold the book, highlight the book. I totally get it. But your electronic textbooks, y'all, you want to get used to them because they're in all your classes and there's so many cool things you can do with them and you can always have them with you. So if you get stuck on anything with ordering your textbooks or getting things connected, always reach out to your SNHU advisor. They can help you get set up for your success. The other thing is too, is when you purchase those course textbooks, to get all connected and set up, you'll get an email to your SNHU student email. So make sure you're checking that SNHU student email, check the junk folder too, just in case. But if for some reason you didn't get it, underneath start here, and I'll show you all when we go to the classroom space, there's all the instructions for how to get everything connected for your electronic textbook. But when in doubt, reach out to your SNHU advisor. Okay. So we've talked about the learning community. We've talked about Brightspace. We've talked about your books and getting connected. So now we're going to kind of just talk a little bit about your assignments here for your very first week. So you have a discussion assignment and a warm-up assignment for SNHU 107 in week 1. So when you have discussion assignments, your initial post is considered where you're answering a series of questions. So you will notice here on the screen that I have up your actual initial post questions for Module 1, Week 1. So there's 4 questions that are listed here, and you'll see when you open up the discussion assignment information and requirements that it's going to say, for your initial post, address the following. This week, it's all about introducing yourself. So you're going to introduce yourself to the class, you know, like, hi, my name is Melanie. I'm from Pensacola, Florida. I am a mom. I'm majoring in, let's say, education. I like to take my dog for a walk, whatever it might be, just a little bit about you, you know, what you are comfortable sharing, you know, like where you're from, your major, about your home life, you know, things you're interested in, whatever you're comfortable sharing. And then you're going to dive into some of the concepts you're covering for the week. I always tell students it is so helpful to review your course required reading for the week and any reading within your module and then come and answer these questions, okay? Because often those places will help you, give you the content so you can answer the question successfully. So question 2 is you're going to be explaining what you think it means to take ownership of your personal success during taking this class. Question 3 is discuss this week's resources on taking ownership. So think about, like, you know, what is taking ownership to you? What did you know about it before? And maybe what are some examples of you taking ownership as you work through these next couple of weeks? And then the last question is like your why. Why are you here at SNHU? What is the driving force of the motivational factors behind you for you to want to get this degree? Okay, so those are the questions you're answering. So your initial post, whenever you have a discussion assignment assigned for the week or the module, you're just answering a series of questions in your own thoughts and words, okay? That is always due by Thursdays of the week they're assigned, or as earlier if convenient for your schedule, okay? Your very first week, however, it's always due by 11:59 p.m. Thursday, East Coast time. So pay attention to time zones. And then you have your initial post again due Thursday, but then you want to make sure too, sometime throughout the week by Sunday or before, you respond to at least 2 of your classmates, and those are called peer responses. You want to have at least 2 responses to classmates, okay? Some students are like, can I respond to more than 2? Of course you can. However, you want to make sure that at least 2 of your classmate responses in the discussion board are substantial, meaning that you want to at least have a paragraph or 2 responding back to your classmates. Ask them questions, get to know them. Maybe you have something in common. Maybe you learned something new. Maybe you liked their take on ownership, whatever it might be. You want to make sure you have more than a couple of sentences or you will get dinged on the points. Okay, don't forget that. The other thing is your discussion points matter. Sometimes students will get going through the term and they're like, Mom, I'm just not going to do my discussion this week. I don't feel like it. Don't let that be you, because every single point matters. And I'm telling you that I have had students where their grade between an A and a B has come down to a discussion board. Okay, so go after your best grade and go after your best foot forward as you work through these assignments. Okay, so discussion assignment again, your initial post is answering these questions, which is basically introducing yourself and talking about ownership. And then you're going to want to make sure you respond to at least 2 of your classmates. Your other assignment for your week 1, module 1 is a warm-up or kind of like an open book quiz. Okay, so with your warm-ups, you can access that under module 1. And when you see that, you will see a begin quiz or start quiz. You click that little button, it opens up the quiz questions, you take it online, and then you click submit. It auto grades. So you can go back to your grade book as soon as you click submit and you can see what you scored on that quiz, okay? You get multiple attempts, it's open book or go through your module. It's not timed, nothing like that. The most important thing I like to tell students about the warm-ups though, when you have them assigned, is one, always make sure you review your course required resources, reading, reading that's assigned for your textbook or any like websites or videos you might want to watch. Review anything that's in the module and then take it. Yes, you get multiple attempts, but it's always easier once you've actually reviewed the information you need to talk about and be able to be quizzed on, right? But again, you get multiple attempts, right? View your syllabus, read your chapter, then take the warm-up. Multiple attempts, auto-graded, due by Sunday or before, as convenient for your schedule for a week one. Okay, so those are your 2 assignments for your very first week in SNHU 107. There's a lot of resources and teams and people here at SNHU to help support your success. So if you are stuck, you have questions on anything about your assignments or where to find something in your classroom, or you're not sure if you submitted something right, get with your instructor. Y'all, do not be afraid or nervous to reach out to your instructor. We want you to be successful. We want to help you. So please reach out and ask us questions. I always tell students, like, it's super awesome. I love when I get an email from a student at the beginning of the term that's like, hey, Professor Shop, a little bit about me. Maybe I've been out of school for a minute, or I'm coming back in this major. Just to like help us get to know you a little bit, and just know that your faculty will always respond within 24 hours. Okay. Don't panic if you send an instructor an email and like they're not getting back to you within an hour, because we all have lives and are humans too, right? But we always will get back to you within 24 hours. Usually it's less than that. So reach out to your instructor. Anything too that you're stuck on or have questions about, maybe you're not getting your books connected right or something, you're just like wondering about something, get with your SNHU advisor. They're wonderful gems of information, and they can always connect you to the right department. The SNHU help desk is available in case there's any technical issues. I always like to remind students too that as an SNHU student, you get Office 365 for free. And I'll show you where to find that in just a second. And that has like Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, things like that. But Microsoft Word is a big one because you will need that or something compatible to do your journal assignments in your classroom space in your final project, okay? Last but not least, we have the amazing academic support team. I'll show you where to find them when I share the classroom space too, but the academic support team has so many resources for your success. They have a service called Written Feedback, where you can upload a draft of your writing assignment, select the areas you want the tutor to focus on, and they'll give you targeted feedback within like 12 hours, which is awesome, especially if you're like new to academic writing, or you struggle with writing mechanics, or you just kind of want another set of thoughts on your writing. That's a wonderful service. Plus, they have lots of tutoring options, 24/7 tutoring, more one-on-one peer tutoring, and they always host workshops too. So there's a lot of resources, and I'll show you how to find everybody there. Like I mentioned too, your SNHU 107 Learning Community webinars are accessible on a YouTube page. Here are the 2 playlists. They're right here. Where you can find the webinars. The webinars are always loaded by every Monday of a new module, where the focus videos are already up and ready to roll for the entire term. So the focus videos are short, y'all. They're just like real quick things, like how to find the discussion board, like how to use the templates in the class, like how to upload a journal assignment. And they might give you some like specific concept things too, like about time management, or you're gonna write short-term goals later in the term. Like those are just quick. The webinars always have a lot more information. They're a lot more detailed, but they're a lot longer. They're usually anywhere between 20 to 40 minutes, depending on the topic, okay? Any live webinars are always held via Microsoft Teams. And again, if you can't make them, don't stress, because they're always recorded and uploaded within 24 hours, okay? Just a reminder too, on accessing and finding that SNHU 107 Learning Community and SNHU Connect. Once you have course access, you have access to SNHU Connect. You can always find it from Brightspace. If you click on that Help, Online Student Services, scroll down to SNHU Connect, or super easy on the left-hand side under Learning Modules, you'll see Start Here, and you can click right on Learning Community. It'll take you right in there, okay? So I wanted to take a moment really quick and just show the classroom space, okay? So this, for example, is the classroom space. Please do not pay attention to due dates and things in here. This is an old classroom. I just want to be able to kind of show you like where to click and how to find things. But I wanted to just point out like how you can get to things. So just know my classroom might look a little bit different than yours, but the basic navigation is still all the same, okay? So when you log in, you're always going to be able to see who your instructor is. There's usually a photo of them and then their email address and their name. I always encourage students to go up to their announcements under course menu, click on announcements, and go to the My Instructor announcement and get to know a little bit about your instructor, okay? Announcements are so important because they give a lot of information, reminders, tips for success. Don't miss them, all right? Also, make sure you're checking that SNHU student email, because a lot of faculty, that is how they will also reach out to you that way, and so will your advisor or any of the SNHU departments. So don't miss those things. Plus, you get webinar reminders in there. So make sure you're checking it at least a couple days a week, if not every day, right? Okay, so remember I said course menu. When you click on that, click the blue, gets to where you want to go. quick link to announcements, learning modules, discussions, assignments, grades, right? Well, if you click on learning modules, it is going to pull up this right here. So you'll see there's a start here. Here's that learning community link that I was telling you about. And then here's all the modules from week 1, module 1, all the way through week 8. What I wanted to show you is if you click on this start here, always do that, because a copy of your syllabus is here, which has the rules, policies of the classroom, plus an overview of all of your assignments. Right here too is all the things about the online bookstore. How to find your textbook, how to get things connected, how to use VitalSource, which is like an electronic bookshelf for your course textbooks. All of it's right here under Start Here, okay? Also, the other thing I wanted to point out too is you can, of course, click on Learning Community. When you click on Learning Community, it'll pull up kind of just a reminder what the Learning Community is, and then you click directly on Learning Community, and it will open up the Learning Community spaces, which is awesome. So you can just see real quick, there's all kinds of students in there. They say hello. It's just a great place to be in to get to know other students. Plus, you can explore clubs and organizations, all right? So again, underneath that course menu, learning modules. You can always see the different weeks. So let's click on module 1. And I wanted to point out a couple of things. One, once you click on it, you can always see a quick overview of what you got. So there's the discussion we talked about. Here's the warm up we talked about, right? But what I want to point out is you want to make sure you actually click the blue, get to where you want to go, and always look through your module objectives and overview, because it's very helpful, gives you some information. Plus, there's always this resources section, which will show you any helpful videos or reminders of textbook chapters for you to review that'll just help you with your success on the concepts in the assignments from week to week. So always scroll down and then arrow over, okay? So as a reminder, we got that discussion assignment. So real quick, I just wanted to show you how to kind of start your very first initial post. When you get in here, you're going to see start a new thread. Click on start a new thread, and let's just say like Melanie, week 1 intro. Okay, you can title whatever you want. But then in here, this is where you can type directly in here to answer those initial post questions, which are right up here. Now, some students like to take these questions and copy and paste them into a Word document, answer them that way, and then like check their spelling and grammar, and then they come back and copy and paste their answers in the text box. That's another option too. It just gives you kind of a backup in case there's anything technical, like a technical snafu that might happen. But you can also just type directly in here. You can also add pictures if you want. You can add links if you want. Always remember, just be appropriate, right? It's a classroom space. But once you have your thoughts and stuff in here, you've spell checked, you can just click on post, okay? So I wanted to make sure I pointed that out, because when you do that, it allows for you to be able to get your discussion assignment posted. Now, if you're like, okay, that's awesome, but like, what if I want to respond to a student that has already posted? What that kind of looks like, and I'm just going to use this general questions area. This is an area if you have like a quick general question. What I want to show you is, let's say that this was your week 1 post, and right here was one of your classmates that had already submitted their week 1 post. You just click the blue, gets you where you want to go, and you'll be able to see whatever they had to say, and then you just click on reply to thread. And when you do that, you can type in your response to your classmates. Again, always spell check. And then again, you can click post, okay? That's the discussion assignment, y'all. Again, initial post due Thursday, peer responses due by Sunday, okay? Now, the other assignment, again, that you have is this week 1 warm-up. Again, review your standard student handbook, check out that start here area where the syllabus is, click on begin quiz. You'll be able to take it and click submit when you're done. It auto grades. You can take it multiple times. That's due on Sunday or before, as convenient for your schedule. Okay, so those are the 2 assignments, kind of click and where to find things, right? The other things I wanted to point out is up here at the top, you have quick access to the Shapiro Library. If you ever need to cite your sources or want to know more about research information or visit the Shapiro Library homepage, this is your quick link, quick, convenient links to be able to get to those places, okay? Academic support has their own link too up at the top. When you click on it, it pulls up their menu of services. They got tutoring options, workshops, more one-on-one academic coaching. But what I wanted to point out too, that a lot of students love to use and it never fails every term. They're like, I should have used the written feedback service sooner, is right here, this written feedback service. You can click on submit a draft and follow the prompts, and you can upload and submit any of your SNHU course writing assignments. This could be discussion drafts, this could be journals, this could even be your final project, it could be a research paper, whatever, writing assignment you might have in your classes. You upload that, select the areas you want your tutor to focus on, and they'll get you targeted feedback within 12 hours, which is really pretty cool, okay? I wanted to show you that. And then the last thing I wanted to show you is underneath this help icon, click the arrow, quick access to the IT help desk. But you also have these student tutorial videos where if you click on student tutorial videos, it pulls up this playlist of videos that'll walk you through like how to use your discussion boards, how to find your instructor's feedback in your grades, how to work my SNHU, how to work and navigate Brightspace, how to find and understand any of my assignment instructions, and how to submit my assignments, and how to understand the rubrics. Okay, these are quick videos that are here for your success. I always like to tell students about them because they're really helpful, especially if you have never been in school before, or you're back after a while, or you're just not sure on some of the technical stuff, okay? The other thing I wanted to point out before I let y'all go is click on this online student services, and it opens up all the departments and teams here at SNHU. So you'll see again the quick access to the help desk. There's the bookstore. Again, click the blue, gets to where you want to go. You can get to academic advising, another way to get to academic support. There's my SNHU orientation, which is like a virtual tour of my SNHU. There's also this helpful link about how to navigate Brightspace. Again, you have the library, financial services, another way to get into SNHU Connect, where the clubs, organizations, and learning community are. Career services, online accessibility center. But I wanted to point out too, this Office 365 and other software. Click the blue, follow the prompts. It'll help you get that Microsoft Office 365 for free as an SNHU student, because it has that Microsoft Word that you will need, or something compatible for your success here in your SNHU 107 class. Okay, so that's just a quick tour of your classroom space. The other thing I wanted to point out before I let you all go is just that this is your journey. So remember along the way to enjoy yourself too. I know for many of you, there's a lot of emotions and feelings as you're starting school for the first time, or coming back to school in a long time, or maybe trying something again, or here getting a new degree, whatever it might be. SNHU is just so thankful that you chose us to partner with you on your academic journey. And I will tell you, it's not always going to be easy, right? But I love this quote by Art Williams because it's a reminder of it's not going to always be easy, but it's going to be so worth it, right? Yes, you're going to have to move your schedules a little bit and make that SNHU study time. Yes, you might have to get pushed outside your comfort zone as you explore different concepts and topics that maybe are new to you, or maybe you don't agree with, and now you have to learn about them. You're going to work with different people. You're going to work with people that are from different states and different backgrounds. And like, it's just an exciting time in your life. So just remember, use your resources, connect for your success. If you get stuck on anything, you got your instructor, you got your advisor, you have the academic support team if it's anything that's like writing related. And just remember, your success is loading. We are so excited for you to get started this term, and we know that you're going to be wonderful. So take a deep breath and just remember, you got this. I'll see you in week 2, y'all.